What's up, guys? We're vlogging in public, and so far it's been an enjoyable experience. We've had someone pull up about 20 meters away from me. Was full of 4 adults, and they've proceeded to walk back and forth past my car for the last 10 minutes. If you could not, that would be appreciated. However, let's talk about the issue at hand. That title, polarizing, to put it in a word. And I get it. I deliberately used a little bit of, just a little bit of clickbait when naming it. I mean, is veganism a cult? Yeah, of course that's gonna get the people that practice it a little riled up. However, to those people that are coming here wanting to be like, oh no, it's a lifestyle, so is being a Christian and religion's a cult. Listen to what I have to say first. Okay? I respectfully ask that of you. Okay? I'm not here to try and say that you're evil, right? Not all cults are satanic cults where they sacrifice virgins to a horned god. Okay? We're not all trying to bring forth Cthulhu from the nth dimension. And now we've got to do it on this side of me. Joyous. Is there just a thing at 2:45 in the afternoon that I don't know about, where everyone just turns up at this otherwise unoccupied spot? Cool. It's the national park guys. It's okay. They cool. We cool with them. They can be here. We're actually at a national park, so that's fine. Let's get into the questions. Let's just dive straight in. I did some research. Found some questions online. More so points of cults do these things. These are things that cults do. And so we're going to sort of look at those, and based off largely what the media has told us, largely, there is a small part where it's I have a friend or two that's vegan, and they've told me a few things, and so we'll be using some of my understanding as well. But largely off what the media has told us, we're going to be making our assumption here. Also, if this is distracting anyone, I can't. That's just the screen for my radio. I can't do anything about it. I'm sorry. Cool. So the first one. What is this guy doing? Making a lot of noise. That's what he's doing. Alright, so the first one is, the group displays excessively zealous and unquestioning commitment to its leader, and, whether they're alive or dead, regards their belief system, ideology, and practices as truth and law. Now, like I said, established religion is a cult, okay? Excessively zealous and unquestioning commitment towards its leader, whether dead or alive. If we go with Christianity, for instance, their leader was Jesus. He's obviously both. If you, he died, but he rose again. What was that look for, kid? I'm gonna come out there and not do anything, because we are in polite society. Still, the face was unnecessary. But yeah, so he's... I mean, look, everyone's waiting for the second coming, so we can just assume that he's dead, right? We'll go with that for the moment. But they regard his belief system, the Bible, and the ideology and the practices that are taught within that belief system and that ideology as the truth, and as, for some of them, as law. Alright? They've got the 10 Commandments, which are literally the 10 laws you must follow to be a good Christian. And yet some of them seem to forget, treat your neighbour how you want to be treated. Love thy neighbour as you love thyself. They seem to forget that one, particularly when talking to the LGBT community. Can't pick and choose. Anyway, so yeah. You know, if Christianity can be seen as this wholly good thing, and it's a cult, not all cults are evil, obviously. Now, veganism does technically speaking, it does have a leader. I can't remember his name for the life of me. I literally looked it up like last night, and I can't remember for the life of me. I mean, it's probably because I looked it up last night, but hey. But in 1944, he founded the Vegan Society, right? So there was, probably still is, a vegan society. He was the one that coined the term vegan, so he's basically the one that invented veganism. So we're going to take him as the leader, since he founded a society for them. And societies generally have cultures. Seeing where I'm going here? Now the belief system, non-dairy vegetarianism, essentially. Or at least that's what it was in 1944. Now it's evolved to, in some people's cases, trying to shut down meat farming altogether. You know, which does become very extremist behavior. It does seem like they're taking the law into their own hands and putting their own spin on it based on what they believe. So, I mean, definitely starting to sound like it has the potential to be a cult. However, the second point brings us back to an even playing field, which is that questioning, doubt, and dissent are discouraged or even punished. I don't think that's the case. From the people I know, and it could just be that I know some decent people. I would like to think so. But it could just be that I know some decent people who are also vegans. But if you were a vegan and then decided that, you know, like say you were doing it for health benefits rather than like the ethical reasons, right? Because there are different reasons why you might do this, and that's fine. Your reason's your own. But let's say that you're doing it for health reasons and not ethical reasons, and you decide that, okay, I've sort of reached the maximum of what the health benefits this can give me are, at least for the moment. I'm going to go back to doing, you know, just regular vegetarian or something like that. At least the people I know aren't going to, you know, start questioning whether or not you're, you know, devoutly a vegan, you know. So on that point, it's not. We're at a nice even playing field. The third one, mind-altering practices such as meditation, chanting, speaking in tongues, denunciation sessions, or debilitating work routines are used in excess and serve to suppress doubts about the group and its leader. I mean, I don't think anyone has any doubts about vegans. They're pretty upfront about what they're doing. They're not eating meat for the most part, being, you know, the ethical reasons of factory farming being what it is. And look, I've got to give this to them. They are right. The animals and stuff that are farmed, especially if it's in like chicken farms, for instance, where you just got you open the door and it's just chickens packed into this domed room, right? Or they're in cages and have no space to really move about, as opposed to being able to go back to like a farm and there's just the same number of chickens just freely roaming around as they please. Yeah, I get it. We need to go to that latter option rather than just being like, oh, put them in here, we'll save some space, that way we can build something else over there. Food needs to be our like number one priority as a species. It's the main thing keeping us alive, other than everything else that our body does just naturally, like breathe or have our heart beating. The only thing that we actually have to like consciously think about is feeding ourselves, and that's, you know, and drinking water, and that's basic survival done. So food and like where it's sourced from really should be our highest priority, just on like a survival level, and yeah, it just, yeah, it is what it is, but it shouldn't be, is the point that I'm trying to make. It is what it is, but it shouldn't be. We should be able to just be able to go into a supermarket and know that everything has been humanely and sustainably sourced, and if that product is meat, we need to know even more so that it was humanely sourced. But for this one, since we've just talked about the fact that no one has doubts, they're not really meditating on the fact that, you know, they're about to eat, you know, like a bomb-ass kale salad or something like that. They're not meditating on that. If they're meditating and also a vegan, the two things are not connected, right? Like, they don't have to be connected. I know some spiritual practices teach that, like, you know, and again, this comes into religious beliefs, but they teach that meditation can help take you back to sort of like this fundamental, you know, dream state, so you can realign the energies in your body or whatever, right? And it can, that can be one of its uses. Another one of meditation's uses can simply just be to help you de-stress from the day. It doesn't have to be this holy spiritual, you know, peyote vision type quest sort of a thing. Like, it doesn't have to be deeply spiritual. It could simply be, I'm taking 10 minutes out to just clear my mind, get myself out of that headspace from working or you know, dealing with difficult friends or whatever it might be. It can simply just be a part of your mental health, and how you keep yourself in a healthy headspace. So if someone's a vegan and they're meditating, they're not necessarily connected. So therefore, there's no really mind-altering practices that vegans have, unless the vegans you know are selling you mushrooms that are not shiitake. You need to take that up with them, because that's also not related to veganism. They are doing that on the side. Let's put that out there right now. Number 4, are we up to? 1, 2, 3, yeah, number 4. So far it's 2-1, not a cult. Leadership sometimes dictates in great detail how members should think, act, and feel. Kinda did. I mean, that's the whole point. You're making a lifestyle change, for one reason or another. Suddenly, you are limited by what you can eat. Depending on how deeply you go, you can be limited by what you wear, what sort of instruments you can buy, what sort of yeah, like there's a whole heap of things, you know, like what sort of hobbies you can pursue. That's the one I was thinking of. I just couldn't find the words for whatever reason. But yeah, no, you can start to become very limited by what you can do. Act and feel. I mean, you would think that someone trying to, you know, save animals would act in a kind way to arguably the smartest animal species on the planet, humans. But again, that comes down to whether or not the particular vegan you know is an asshole or not, and that's a them problem, not a vegan problem. Not all vegans are assholes, believe it or not. There are some good ones out there, just like there are some nice guys out there. That's a video for another time, though. And dictating how you feel, I don't think so. I mean, obviously, if you're doing it for the ethical reasons, then yeah, you're being told, like, this is bad, but you've already agreed to that. At that point, the dictating how you feel is just confirmation bias, and there's nothing extra to it. So, yeah. I mean, and vegans aren't, you know, like, you don't have to get permission from other vegans to date a non-vegan. That's purely just a personal thing, like, I'm vegan, so I want my partner to be vegan. That's fair enough. Or I'm vegan, but I'm happy if you're not. That's cool too. You know, props to you if that's you. You know, for being like, I've made this choice on my own. If you're gonna make this choice, you need to do it on your own. Otherwise, you're just gonna feel contempt towards the whole practice, and that's not a way to live your life. Because that can then sort of be pushed onto the person that introduced them to it. And if it's a romantic relationship, that's gonna die at some point. So yeah, permission to date, not really. Change jobs. I mean, look, if you've suddenly become a vegan and you were working in a butcher's or at an abattoir or something like that, I'm pretty sure you're gonna change your job. I think that's just part and parcel. You're going to change your job. You're going to suddenly be like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I'm going vegan and I'm going to change my job because I don't want to be involved in the process. I think that's just part and parcel of it. But other than that, no one's dictating what jobs you can have. It's not like, oh, vegans can't be electrical engineers. I'm sure there are vegans who are electrical engineers. I'm sure of it. And that's cool, right? Like, electrical engineers that's a tight job. Good work. No one's forcing you to do that job just because you're a vegan, or conversely, forcing you not to do that job. So yeah, not a cult on that regard either. But as a whole, for that point, I'm gonna just sort of put that as a you decide for yourself. Because really what it comes down to is, do you think that by it being you can't have these products because this thing's in them? Like, vegans can't have, like that fake vanilla flavoring because it has extract of beaver bum gland. Beaver's an animal, so they can't have that. Of all the things in the milkshake, the vanilla's probably the one thing you'd be like, that's fine. No. Right? Like, obviously milk comes directly from a cow. We all know that. That's common knowledge. Ice cream is just basically frozen cream. Like, it's exactly what it says. It's ice cream. The vanilla part, you'd be like, vanilla's a bean. You scrape that out, put it in some water, you make a vanilla syrup. It's done. But the fake vanilla stuff has, so it's, I mean, the more you know, but at the same time, it's like, of all the things in that, surely that could have been a vegan friendly part of it, but no. So they can't have the fake vanilla stuff. They've got to get actual vanilla to make a vanilla milkshake. Cool. So, yeah, depending on where you sit on that, that's a for or an against. I'm gonna just count it out. We're still at 2-1. Technically speaking, we'd be at 3-2 here, despite being on 0.5 now. This one does bring it back up level though. So we're back at an even playing field. The group is elitist, claiming a special exalted status for itself, its leader and its members. And some examples are its leader is considered to be the Messiah, a special being or an avatar, like the Buddha or Jesus, or the group and or the leader is on a special mission to save humanity. And that's the one I think vegans fit better. They're on a mission to save humanity from itself and its overconsumption of other lives, despite the fact that the rest of the animal kingdom operates that way too. But humans need to be better. The group's elitist. And look, as we've seen, I am trying to play the fair game here, okay? But we are taking this from what the media shows us, and unfortunately, and this goes for any group of people, the vocal minority dictate how you are perceived, and the vocal minority of vegans are probably just, as individuals, elitist people. They think that they're better than everyone else because of the things that they do. And unfortunately, they've brought that image to veganism. The group has a polarized us versus them mentality, which may cause conflict with the wider community. I have seen avid anti-vegans online and stuff. So yeah, there is the conflict with the wider society, and it can feel very us versus them when, as I just said, your vocal minority is elitist. If they're telling everyone, I'm better than you, and someone's of the opinion of no one's better than anyone else, we're just different, then yeah, you're gonna quickly find this person trying to be like, yeah, you might be better in these areas, but in these areas, this other person is better. Only for the elitists to be like, oh no, I'm better because, and bring up those same points. Again, I think this just comes down to the individuals, and I think that's what this mainly comes down to. Are you, as an individual, someone who displays cult-like qualities? Like, are you a cultist and don't realize it, sort of a thing? But that's that point, and it does put the scores now back in favor of veganism being a cult, unfortunately. The leader is not accountable to any authorities. The leader was accountable to authorities, as far as I'm aware. I don't think... And again, our leader is only by technicality, so we're going to take the whole leadership thing and put that on the members now, like from now on for all of these things. So the members are not accountable to any authorities. The members are accountable to all the authorities. Being vegan does not grant you special privileges. If you trespass onto someone's private property where they are trying to run a business, even if that business goes against what you believe in, you are still breaking the law. You will still be held accountable for that. I understand what you're trying to do. I understand your personal reasons behind wanting to do that, but you are still breaking the law and you are still accountable for your actions. So no, on this one, veganism is not a cult, and this again brings us back to being even. Like I said, it's a polarizing title, and this is why. It's because, we can read 2 or 3 in a row and it's like, yes, 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 but then the next 3 in a row are going to be no, 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 and we're back to being even, and we're back to being like, well, it's now up to personal preference. Do you believe that it's a cult or not? The group teaches or implies that its supposedly exalted ends justify whatever means it deems necessary. This may result in members participating in behaviours or activities that they would have considered reprehensible or unethical before joining the group, like lying to friends or collecting money for bogus charities, essentially stealing from people. And I don't think that's what vegans are trying to do. I mean, they could be trying to waste baristas' times by making them have to froth 12 different types of milk, but that's not the point we're trying to make here. Besides which, it's up to the individual cafe whether they do that or not. It's not on vegans. But yeah, so I don't think so. I don't think they have like they do have a supposedly exalted end, and that is obviously a world that is purely vegan, right? Like that seems to be like their ultimate exalted end. But I don't think that they are trying to teach us or imply that any and all methods they take are, you know, will be justified when we get to that stage, if we get to that stage. Because like I said, I know that there are people that are going out there and trying to, chain themselves to the equipment or whatever. But by the same token, there are people out there just trying to like live their lives, that are vegan. They're just out there doing their thing, trying not to bother anybody. If you ask them politely about it, they will tell you what they believe in, why they're doing it, probably give you some of the things that they watched that convinced them. And let's be honest, there's probably some confirmation bias documentaries as well in that mix, but they'll still give you these things that you can watch or read or whatever it might be, and yeah, we'll just be happy for you to make up that decision on your own. But then obviously there are some that will be like, no, we've got to shut this down because that saves all the cows here, and then we got to go shut down that one because that'll save all the pigs over there, and then we got to, and it's again a 50-50 split, depends on the person, because I think you could find that there are some people that are like, I believe in this strongly, but I would never incite anything like that. But then as soon as something's incited, they're more than happy to go along. We can't be like I know I've been pointing out the two extremes at either ends, but we've got to also acknowledge that there's a full scale of grey in the middle. But as a whole, I don't think that it's teaching that. So that's a no. We're back to an even. It's not a cult. The membership induces feelings of shame and or guilt in order to induce or control other members. Again, no. Often it's done through peer pressure and subtle forms of persuasion. If we go, instead of other members, to prospective members, then yeah, there are people that would for sure do that. They would for sure use peer pressure as one of their techniques to get you to become a vegan. However, as I stated earlier, you will then develop contempt for the practice, not enjoy it, and end up quitting anyway, going back to doing what you want to do after a while. And they're probably the same person that's then going to try and shame you back into it. All I would tell you is, if that person's a friend of yours, you got to cut them off and get some new friends, because that's not cool behaviour to be putting your friends through. They should be cool with you doing what you're doing just as much as you're cool with them doing what they're doing. Subservience to the leader or group requires members to cut ties with family and friends or radically alter the personal goals and activities they had before joining the group. Again, I don't think this is the case for them. We're still on the no. I don't think I need to explain that one. I don't think that's the case. If the family and friends or the vegan themselves decides to cut ties to family and friends for, whatever the reason behind it being, but the topic still being around, centered around veganism, then that's on those people. That's not veganism itself. Groups preoccupied with bringing in new members, or the groups preoccupied with making money. They're not trying to make money. And bringing in new members, obviously, as I said, their exalted end is to have a world full of just vegans. So obviously, increasing their membership would obviously be something that they would be wanting to do. So we got a 1 up and a 1 down there, keeping us on that no side of the fence still by cancelling each other out. Members are expected to devote inordinate amounts of time to the group and group-related activities. The only thing I can think of to be like, yeah, of course, only thing I can think of, and this is stretching it, really is that if they're like specifically buying only organic fruit and vegetables and are dead set on making all of their, making their almond milk on their own, making their, hand prepping every meal that they eat, sort of thing. If that's what they're going to do, that's a them thing. That's how they've chosen to live their life. They could be a foodie and just decided to go vegan. You don't know. They might enjoy cooking, but as a whole, no, doesn't fit them. Members are encouraged or required to live and or socialise with other group members. I don't think required or encouraged fits for that. I think it's simply just they'd like to, because it's like-minded people, and you're always going to make friends with like-minded people, regardless of the topic. So that's no, not them. And then the last one here, the most loyal members, the true believers, feel there can be no life outside the context of the group, and believe that there's no other way to be, and often fear reprisals to themselves or others if they leave or even consider leaving the group. And again, this one doesn't fit them. So all in all, despite, if we're taking it as like a total out of, I don't know how many points that was, but if we're taking it as a total out of, veganism is not a cult. It has some very strong cult behaviors, but it is overall not a cult. There is no defined set of rules that all vegans must live by. There's no quote-unquote holy text of veganism. It is a lifestyle change. So yeah, veganism is not a cult. Now the reason I chose to do this one today, I want to talk about some of these more interesting. I did a video last year talking about the Mandela effect, and it got a lot of hate comments, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just make some videos trolling you guys, and then was like, I'm gonna try and make a series out of this. We're gonna talk about some touchy subjects, and we're gonna try and see what kind of a response they get. So whether this video is loved or hated, whether I have to take it down or not, this is the video that we're posting. And yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. If you managed to stay this long, thank you so much. But yeah, no. So I specifically chose veganism for January because Veganuary is a thing where, in one of their more culty behaviors, vegans encourage you to try going vegan for a month, to sort of see the, and the Veganuary, the people behind Veganuary are pretty chill people. They're aware that you're not going to immediately jump on board with their ethical issues, so they're going the health route. Try it for a month, see what health benefits you get from it, and this will also help you understand what it is that we're trying to do, and you can kind of get maybe an understanding for the ethical reasons during that month while you have time to think about it. And if I was living on my own and 100% dictate what I was eating, I would be doing it this month. We are getting dangerously low to dead battery. You're gonna have to get off quick. But yeah, no, we would, I would be trying vegan, I would be trying Veganuary if I had the option to just wholeheartedly dive into that. I think it's a very interesting thing to look at. Like I said, I'm not myself, so I don't know what the struggles that they have as far as finding particular products are. You know, how do they maintain their 3 macros? Which are carbs, protein, and fats? How do they, you know, like, are there therefore limits to, you know, the amount of physical exertion they can put out during the day, since they're trying to like substitute things, and they may not be getting the exact same quantities of the same things, even though it's like the same amount of protein. Like I said, got to break it down into its smaller parts. So yeah, like I think it's very interesting, and I would love to find out. I really would. But that's all I've got for this video. If you stayed this long, thank you so much. Please leave me a comment down below. I would love to chat with you guys. Have a civil, capital letters there, civil conversation down below. I'm not trying to name call anyone. I have admitted to a little bit of clickbait in the title, just to try and get some views on this. But other than that, I want to have a talk to you. If you're vegan yourself, maybe answer some of my questions that I just put out there. Like I said, I'm very interested in this. Would love to know more. But yeah, leave a comment down below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And make sure to ring that little bell if you want to be notified when I upload new videos. And with that done, my phone about to die, and it being hot as hell in this car right now. Until next time, guys, keep your head screwed on.